welcome back to Hard Hitters. This week, I'm your host, Sarah Mankiewicz, and
FGCU began asymptomatic testing.
Several student organizations at FGCU
and we're going to play Guess the Song.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with the Executives here at the Bauer School of Music.
And you're watching ENTV.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of Hard Hitters. This week I'm your host Sarah Mankiewicz, and I'm joined with
Nick Aslin
and Tyler Watkins.
And we had a very interesting game this past week. We had the Raiders versus the Cowboys, and I thought that the Raiders were going to win by a lot more than a score of 36-33, but the Cowboys stayed in it and they played a good game.
Penalties, they just played a huge role in this game. Both teams had 14 penalties that accumulated to over 100 yards of penalty yards.
If you look at Anthony Brown on the Cowboys side with 4 pass interference / holding penalties and in really key moments, especially in overtime, that led to the Raiders field goal. And I was just saying, like, 14 penalties on both sides. We got to do something about that in the NFL because that was a new record, apparently, from Sean Hockley. But on Dallas' side, you can see that they're clearly hurting from not having Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb on their side, and they're definitely going to need that fast because they're on a 2-game skid right now.
Moving into this week, we've got Thursday Night Football. We've got the Cowboys versus the Saints, which we just talked about. But I think even though the Cowboys lost to the Raiders, I think they put up a good game. And so I think I've got the Cowboys this week for once.
The Saints are just... they have so many injuries. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and then, of course, Jameis Winston. He's out, too, among others. I think they're, like, the most injured team in the NFL at this point. I just don't see them pulling this out, even at home.
Definitely. We've got your game of the week. We've got your Buccaneers playing with the Falcons on Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
I've got your Buccaneers.
Yeah, I got the Buccaneers coming off a big road win. You know, they really struggled on the road this season, and they overcame a 10-point lead against the Colts that seemed like they were getting hot at the beginning of the half, but you get a Shaq Barrett in that defense stepping up in the turnover department. Antoine Winfield with an absolutely beautiful interception.
Even some Bucs fans were saying last week, they're like, yeah, I don't feel like we kind of deserve to win, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
So.
It was one of those wins where you just take it even though that you were down for pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great performance by the Bucs, and they took out the Falcons easily the last time they played them. I think they got this one again.
Definitely. But moving on, we've got the Cardinals versus the Bears, and I have to say I think the Cardinals are going to take this one.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals too. I think this might hopefully be the week Kyler Murray is finally back for the Cardinals. Even if he's not, I don't think it'll be much of an issue.
The Chargers versus the Bengals now. Nick, what do you think about this game?
It just depends what team we see for these guys this week. It's been every week. It's like, who are we going to see here? What version of these teams are we going to see this week? I think I'm going to go with the Bengals, though. They played solid last week. They got good momentum coming into it. The Chargers, they lost that game against the Broncos. Not a great performance for them. I think it'll be momentum that carries the Bengals to this win. Granted, whoever shows up this week.
I'm going to upset you. I'm going to say the Chargers, actually. I do think it'll be close. Like you're saying, it depends on which team comes out type of thing. But I think the Chargers just have a little bit of an offensive edge. And I think we're going to see a better Chargers team.
I have to disagree with you. I'm going with the Bengals on this one. I think they have more offensive firepower, to be honest, with Joe Mixon in the backfield as well, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But yeah, I'm going with the Bengals this week.
Yeah, and then we've got the Vikings versus the Lions. We've obviously seen that the Lions are 0-10-1 because they did tie a game. They haven't won a game, but they tied one. And so obviously the Vikings aren't that great of a team either, but when you're the 0-10-1 Lions, it's not hard to beat, so I have the Vikings.
Yeah, I think if Kirk Cousins lines up behind the center this week and not the guard.
I mean, it's just the Lions find any possible way to lose. You know, last week I really thought they had it. I really thought you see all the intros for them. Oh, are we going to get our first win this week on Thanksgiving finally? No, you're not. So then, yeah, I'm going with the other team on this one. I can't trust them. I'm going with the Vikings.
And then we've got the Giants versus the Dolphins this week. I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. I mean, both teams are pretty... It's a good matchup. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Dolphins have got this.
They destroyed Cam Newton last week. They exposed him.
Cam Newton got benched.
Superman met his kryptonite already, so...
I got the Dolphins. They've been playing pretty well the past couple weeks.
Yeah. And then speaking of the Eagles, they're actually playing the Jets this week, and so I think the Eagles are going to win this week, though. Yeah. I'll take that because it is the Jets. The Jets have improved from last season, which is hard to improve from their last season, but I mean, they're like, I think they're 3-8.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles in a bounce-back game, hopefully, for Jalen Hurts and that offense. offense. You know, Devontae Smith, he had him a couple times. He missed them in the game-winning situation. So hopefully that connection, Alabama connection, starts to kick in again.
Yeah, I got the Eagles too. It was just a rough loss for them this past week.
Yeah.
They've been playing pretty good. Last week was honestly surprising to me. I'm sure for most people it was too, to lose to the Giants. But the Eagles, they got this one.
Definitely. And then we've got the Colts versus the Texans. I've got the Colts for this. What would you guys think?
Run the ball. Feed Jonathan Taylor. You got the Colts had that game that won this past week. You got Jonathan Taylor in your backfield. You got the lead. Just run the ball.
Definitely. And then we've got the Washington versus the Raiders. And, I mean, we saw last week's game. The Raiders came out strong against the Cowboys. And so I've got the Raiders this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm going with the Raiders as well. They had a really great, energetic win in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Given the score that it was close, but really the Raiders kind of hit the ground running with that Deshaun Jackson touchdown at the very beginning. So I think they'll keep that energy up this week.
Definitely. And we've got the Jags versus the Rams. So the Jaguars obviously have only won 2 games this season. And so obviously the Rams are looking fantastic. The Rams have a great defense. And so I think this is not going to be a close game with the Rams winning.
Well, I wouldn't have to disagree with you. They're not looking fantastic right now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not right now. Throughout
This
the
OBJ
season
thing.
overall.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to watch Matthew Stafford. I know he's been pretty banged up these past couple of weeks, had a couple injuries, and it definitely showed against the Packers this week. There were a lot of underthrown passes, so it'll be interesting to see how that ties into this game.
Definitely. And we've got the Ravens versus the Steelers. And so the Ravens, I have to take them because, like we said, we mentioned a little bit earlier, the Steelers and Big Ben are just not up to par this season type of thing. And obviously the Ravens look great.
I think the Ravens will still come out on top of this one. The Steelers are looking very, very rough this season.
But moving on, we got the 49ers versus the Seahawks. I usually don't go with the 49ers, but when it comes to going against the Seahawks, I'm going to have to take the 49ers on this one.
It's just been a rough season for the Seahawks.
Yeah, and the 49ers, I'm going to take them as well. Jimmy G got them going as well. The defense is stepping up as well. They moved into a playoff spot after that win against the Vikings last week, and I think that they're going to keep that momentum and just put the Seahawks out of their misery.
Yeah. Definitely. And then we've got the Broncos versus the Chiefs. So I think this would be a pretty close game. I think each team has. I think the Chiefs are better offensively, and I think the Broncos are better defensively. I think it's gonna be close, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is an upset. So I'm interested to hear from you guys.
It's just with the Broncos, they'll have 1 week where they go up against go into Dallas and just beat them up, and then the next week they'll lay a dud.
The Broncos following suit of almost every AFC team of being inconsistent this season, except maybe the Patriots. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are playing at home. I think they'll have that edge playing in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs, but a close game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos did win this one. But moving on, our last game of the week, Monday Night Football, the best game of the week. We've got the Patriots versus the Bills. I'm excited for this. I don't think this is going to be an easy win, even though I think the Patriots will win, of course. Because, I mean, we saw the Bills had a really strong start to the season. The Patriots had kind of a rough start this season, but they've looked up. They're number 1 in the AFC East now, which has surpassed the Bills and put the Bills into number 2. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, so much for dominating the AFC East, right, Bills fans?
It works for me.
Yeah, but in this pick, I may have to go with the Bills on this one, to be honest. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just think that even though that they beat up on the injured Saints, I just think that Josh Allen has really got his team back on track.
Mac Jones has been doing really well. Granted, he did have a couple missed opportunities this past week against the Titans, but the defense came through for him and got him that win.
They beat the Titans right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a Titans team out
Titans
there.
are pretty
Henry,
injured,
AJ
so-
Brown and
Yeah.
Julio Jones. So that's why I'm taking the Bills
But
in this
honestly,
one. But
look at all the rookies throughout this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I would honestly say Mac Jones is probably doing the best.
he is.
that was
He is, without
Yeah.
a doubt. Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
That's it. I got the Patriots.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching Hard Hitters, and please tune in next week. And please see if our predictions were right.